Dangote Refinery may have to turn to exporting its premium motor spirit known as petrol after Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited declined to remain the refinery's only buyer. Olufemi Shoneye, the NNPCL spokesperson, stated in a statement on Saturday that the company would not purchase Dangote fuel unless it was less expensive than what was available on the global market. The possibility of that is what we'll also look at this morning. And Aliko Dangote, the president of the Dangote Group, stated that the refinery was waiting for the NNPCL to release its products. That was an earlier statement anyway, found to be untrue. And now the NNPCL has come out to say that, hey, the market is open for all those who want to be a player in this particular sector, most especially the pricing and the distribution of premium motor spirits to the filling stations and, of course, the final consumers. This morning, Kelvin Emmanuel, an economist, joins us to unpack this. Kelvin, it's nice to have you around.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Now, I'm not sure we've actually seen the end to the squabble between Dangote Refinery and the NNPCL. Now, the DRL had said that NNPC would be the sole buyer as off-taker while also determining the pump price. But NNPCL has come out to say otherwise. So what is the issue between these two entities and midwifing the smooth sale of Dangote's refinery, refining, and of course, the commodity sales operation?
Well, it's a very good question, and it's quite a conundrum, and it actually begs for answers from Nigerians and from the international community on how you have a situation where since 1972, Nigeria has been importing dirty products, dirty fuels, especially in the last 10 to 15 years. The fuel that is brought into Nigeria does not meet up with any certification standards anywhere in the world. And you have empirical evidence to show you that. There's been a result done at a world-class lab for ASTM, American Society for Testing and Materials, to show you that the petrol that we consume and the diesel we consume in Nigeria is not accepted anywhere in the world. Average sulfur level, which adds to the public health concerns and safety of the consumers, and also adds to the climate of Nigeria, is about 2,631 ppm. The approved standard in Nigeria is 50 parts per million. NECOWAS is 250 parts per million. We've seen empirical evidence that some players in the midstream and downstream sector, they buy off-spec adulterated petrol that should be normally based on globally accepted standards for refining, should be sent to an effluent treatment plant and flushed out as waste. Those products are bought at refineries in Eastern Europe. They are sent to Central Europe, Malta. They are cured with other chemicals, and they are transshipped to Nigeria. Now, if you look at a sample of petrol and diesel from the Dangote Refinery, you see the reaction. Nigerians are questioning, and they are asking themselves that they cannot believe that the color of diesel and petrol is that clear, because they've not been used to, in most of their adult lives, of products that meets up with globally accepted standards and can be consumed and approved anywhere in the world, including North America, including Western Europe, that has the most stringent conditions for approval for gasoline testing methods. Now, the question on Dangote Refinery saying that based on preliminary discussions, NNPC was supposed to be a sole buyer, NNPC coming out to say that, look, the market is open to all. It begs the question, number one, on quality. Why are the regulators in Nigeria allowing bad actors to bring in poorly refined products that belongs to effluent treatment sewers and that will not be accepted anywhere in the world, number one? Number two, considering that NNPC currently is the sole buyer for importing products to Nigeria and owes international traders about $6.8 billion in modified carrier agreements with demurrage costs that is currently reading, because at the last count, they had T plus 60-day transaction of about 7% LIBOR. and they are owing and they cannot pay. They don't have the crude oil feedstock to exchange in crude oil swaps. Neither do they have the cash to pay. As a matter of fact, the loan that they were going to borrow through a book run as Standard Chartered, $2 billion they were going to use to draw down, they were supposed to use to draw down on their existing debts. And they've not been able to secure that loan. You know, so you have all kinds of financing arrangements, Project Eagle, Project Cheetah, all kinds of financing arrangements that has led to serious impairment on the balance sheet of NNPC that they've used to finance the importation of substandard dirty fuel into Nigeria. So now you have a brand new refinery in Lagos that has started refining gasoline, started refining AGO, started refining Jet A1 and all kinds of non-transportation fuels. And it begs the question, why is the state-owned enterprise refusing to lift products from the refinery?
Yeah, and Kelvin,
at what price is NNPC offering crude oil feedstock to Dangote Refinery? Because the impression they are giving Nigerians is that they are offering Dangote Refinery crude oil feedstock at a discount, and that's a lie.
Now, Kelvin, still talking about the issue around pricing. We're looking at the NNPC statement also and its position, but it said that it would only purchase petrol from Dangote Refinery if market prices are higher than the pump prices.
What is the landing cost of petrol to Nigeria? The marketers say the landing cost of petrol is between 1,150 and 1,200 naira per liter. The government regulated price is about 617 in Abuja, is anywhere between 565 and 585 in Lagos. NNPC is applying between 500 and 600 naira in under recovery per liter of petrol, which they say is FX differential. Yeah. What is the landing cost of petrol to Nigeria? Substandard petrol, by the way. What's the international benchmark for the cost of petrol for gasoline? In Accra, gasoline goes for between $1.30 and $1.50 per liter. And you can take your guess in different parts of different markets all over the world. So the question we have to ask is, number one, what price are they offering crude oil feedstock to the Dangote Refinery? Are they offering a discount? No, they are not offering a discount, number one. Number two, what is the landing cost of PMS per liter, substandard PMS per liter to Nigeria for the petrol that is brought into Nigeria? That's the question we have to ask. NNPC says that they want a deregulated market, but the same NNPC has asked their terminals to send a new pricing template in Abuja. The new pricing template for NNPC petrol stations, it's 897 naira per liter. In Lagos, it's about 855 naira per liter. The same NNPC that is talking about deregulation, according to sections 205 and section 206 of the Petroleum Industry Act, has raised the price and is still setting the price and regulating the price of PMS across Nigeria. So does it make sense that the NNPC in one way is saying that they want a deregulated market, but it's still regulating the market?
So Kelvin,
if they want to deregulate the markets in Nigeria, let the NNPC write a press release and say, based on sections 205 and sections 206 of the Petroleum Industry Act of 2021 that was signed by the immediate past president, we are officially announcing a deregulation of PMS in Nigeria. Then everybody will play.
The issue around deregulation is one that actually beats the imagination of so many people. Now we're seeing a national entity with its irregularities that is actually pushing Dangote Refinery potentially towards shifting to an open market, maybe a global market. And I'm wondering what guarantees are even there that this approach will aid Nigeria's efforts in achieving self-sufficiency in fuel production and reduce the reliance on imports, and how this might even affect Nigeria's, having a stable price or a price that's even affordable to the consumers or to the citizens.
My friend, you cannot eat your cake and have it back, okay? NNPC cannot be saying that they want a deregulated market and still be setting the price in the market, and then tell the only domestic refiner that meets with all global certification standards that it has to compete with regulated imported products. It doesn't make any sense. By the way, let me let you know this, Lekon. It profits Dangote better to export PMS out of Nigeria because then it's pricing its products in US dollar based on global benchmark than for him to sell to Nigerians. Dangote selling petrol to Nigeria, it's an act of patriotism. because it has a better market internationally in terms of the unit costs than selling to the Nigerian market. But you know, if you go back to history, he bidded for the Port Harcourt Refinery in 2006, $500 million US. He won the bid. The share transfer documents were not signed. The president that took over from OBJ reversed the sale according to decisions that are best known to him. And then the dream to build a commercial refinery started, and he has succeeded in doing that. In the same intervening period, in 18 years since 2006, NNPC has spent nearly 12 trillion in turnaround maintenance and it's not yielded nothing. NNPC promised severally. And if you look at the exchange rate at which those monies were disbursed by the Federal Executive Council, there are more than $20 billion that was spent in turnaround maintenance for Port Harcourt, for Warri, and for Kaduna, and they cannot account for it. Every year, they spend nearly 100 billion naira in overhead costs for welfare and benefits for the staffs of a moribund and dead refinery that is not producing anything, right? And you have a brand new refinery in Lagos that is working, that is currently refining products. So does it make any sense that in 2024, after achieving these feats, NNPC is still talking about importing substandard products into Nigeria when you should work with the domestic refiner to ensure that the market is guaranteed supply? Look, at full capacity utilization, the Dangote Refinery can supply up to 50 million liters of PMS every day, at least 26 million liters of diesel, at least 14 million liters of Jet A1. Nigeria can be completely self-sufficient and stop importing dirty substandard products into the country at full capacity utilization. So why does the question of importing dirty petrol and diesel come into Nigeria when we have a brand new refinery in Lagos?
Kelvin, how do we even deal with the oil and gas sector? Let's even talk about the petroleum sector itself, because a few people have come out to say that there's a need for a total overhaul of that particular sector, and they've actually called for the sack of Amile Kyari, who is the GCEO. I mean, something needs to be done, but then what's your take?
Look, I'm the frontline proponent for the president firing Mele Kyari because he's shown that he's incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's shown that he can't run the NNPC. I also think the president needs to remove the head of NMDPRA and change NUPRC head and change his entire oil and gas team. Because look, if you look at the annual financial statement of the NNPC for 2023, there are discrepancies with the number of cargoes that were reported to the number of cargoes that Nigeria is due to based on the cumulative average for 55% that NNPC holds for the government for upstream, midstream, deep offshore, midshore, and onshore assets. You know, there are issues around modified carrier agreements for crude oil swap deals that were structured to finance importation of substandard dirty petrol without importing for the value trading mismatch, considering that PMS is only 43% derivative of a barrel of crude oil. There are issues downstream, you know. There is issues of non-maximization of value for the assets that NNPC holds on behalf of the federal government, underperforming wells, you know, onshore, midshore. The fact that currently Nigeria has the highest unit production cost per barrel at $48, Libya that is currently fighting a civil war, Iraq that does not have a central government fighting a civil war, their unit cost per barrel is below $10 per barrel. You know, there are issues around the financing for unregistered joint ventures and production sharing contracts upstream, because NNPC usually does not have capital to do capital contribution based on its equity shareholding of assets, you know. So, and, you know, when these companies as operators have to finance the whole project 100%, they apply what they call carry oil and amortize the cost at an interest over a period of time. So there is incompetence in the way you have the NMDPRA, NUPRC, NNPC run. And it's my view that NNPC is 50% of the macroeconomic problems and quagmire Nigeria is embroiled in, and the president needs to take action soon.
Okay, so Kelvin, to just wrap things up now, Ipman has said they would be happy to buy directly from Dangote Refinery, and there have been talks around, you know, that direct, you know, buy clause coming into play and eliminating depot owners. Will the price of petrol come down? 30 seconds.
Number one, NNPC needs to apply the PIA and ensure that the only standard on which it is allowing people to bring in products in Nigeria is if the quality of their product meets up with the quality of the product that Dangote is refining. If you do that, then we have a level playing field, okay? It doesn't make sense for you to import substandard products when you have world-class products in Nigeria ready for offtake. Nigerian government needs to protect the industries and needs to apply backward integration for a sector that consumes about $28 billion in FX and is creating a lot of pressure in the FX market and is invariably impacting inflation through what they call exchange rate induced inflation.
All right, well, I think we just drew curtains on the discussion for now right there because, of course, with all the grammar that has been spoken this morning, what is more important to Nigerians is the possibility of the price reducing because, you know, it has actually, I can't even say it is biting into the pockets anymore. It has actually taken away, you know, the pockets and the wallets of Nigerians having to spend that much.
The two major movers of the price of PMS is exchange rates and price of crude oil. Well, the one Nigerian government has control over is exchange rates. And if you keep importing by demanding FX to bring in products into Nigeria, it will keep pressing the exchange rate down.
All right, thank you very much, Kelvin Emmanuel. You're an economist, and it was nice to have had this particular discussion with you. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.